a glimmer of hope emerged from the ashes of a devastating conflict as a 42-day ceasefire between Israel and Hamas came into effect on January 19, 2025. This truce, though fragile, offered a much-needed respite from the relentless violence that had gripped the region for over 3 months. The ceasefire agreement, brokered by international mediators, aimed to pave the way for dialogue and a more permanent solution to the decades-long conflict. The human cost of the conflict had been staggering. Over 1,200 Israelis, mostly civilians, were killed in the initial Hamas attack on October 7, 2023, and the subsequent violence. In Gaza, the Israeli military operation resulted in over 46,000 Palestinian deaths, with women and children accounting for over half of the casualties. The ceasefire offered a glimmer of hope for the people of Gaza, who had endured weeks of unimaginable suffering. With the easing of the Israeli blockade, humanitarian aid began to flow into the besieged enclave, providing much-needed food, water, and medical supplies. The release of 3 Israeli hostages by Hamas on January 19, 2025, marked a significant step towards building trust. Emily Damari, Romy Gonen, and Doron Steinbrecher were handed over to the Red Cross in Gaza City. Their release was met with relief and joy in Israel. Emily Damari was reunited with her family in an emotional ceremony broadcast live across the nation. The images of their tearful reunion served as a poignant reminder of the human cost of the conflict. In a reciprocal gesture of goodwill, Israel released 90 Palestinian prisoners, marking a significant development in the ongoing peace process. This initial release, part of the phased ceasefire agreement, was met with cautious optimism by the Palestinian Authority and celebrated with jubilation in the West Bank. Among those released was 62-year-old Khalida Jarrah, a prominent figure in the Palestinian leftist faction, whose imprisonment had been a point of contention. Jarrah's release, after serving 6 years of a 15-year sentence, was seen as a particularly significant gesture by Israel. Her case had garnered international attention and become a symbol of the Palestinian struggle for freedom and self-determination. The release of the prisoners was not without its critics in Israel, but it was seen by many as a necessary step towards building trust and creating a more conducive environment for negotiations. The release of the prisoners and the subsequent celebrations in the West Bank underscored the deep yearning for freedom and self-determination among the Palestinian people. It also highlighted the complex human dimension of the conflict, where acts of violence and gestures of goodwill were intertwined in a seemingly intractable knot.